Disneyland Railroad, now arriving on the trip around Walt Disney Magic Kingdom. Passengers will stand by to board. Your attention is about Disneyland Railroad, now leaving for a complete trip around Walt Disney Magic Kingdom through the Grand Canyon and Primeval World.
There are only two in a row. Please slide over to the left so we can see what space is available. Thank you. Apart, so 50% of our train space forward today. Our next up will be Mickey's Toontown. Train is ready to depart now. Please make sure all little ones are fully seated on a bench inside the row, away from train openings or on the lap of an adult. And please all guests stay seated at all times. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Thank you.
Maybe because they were making them so much.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids. Out with the rivers of America and entering the frontiers it looked more than a century and a half ago. As far as the eye can see.
You saw and a beaver, and another beaver, and another beaver, and another beaver. Or beavers.
There is the revered Indian shaman, entering the shore with River Valley below. In a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams and the stories that went with them were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable. Like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those miner trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness.
You see the rocks?
Oh, there was a... Oh, look, a bearded dragon!
That's not a bearded dragon.
That's just a dragon. Or no, that's just a lizard.
An hour and a half by 8:30, and then 15 minutes later at 8:45, the AC electrical parade will be starting right there at the small hill of the racetrack and all the way down the main street. The parade will return again at 10:45, coming back up this way. In between the wheels, and as they went down in the clock, at 10:30 and at 9:30 in between all of that. It'll be the fireworks spectacular Disneyland forever. At 9:30, viewing either here at the Small World or Main Street or the river after FASTPASS. Please stay seated while the train is coming into the station. Please wait for a full stop before you stand up. To those joining us here at Mickey's Toontown Depot, this is the Excursion train. The only one of our trains that actually faces forward, the others all face apart. Welcome, we're halfway around our Grand Circle trip back to Main Street. Our next stop will be Tomorrowland. Please remain seated at all times. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs in the train, and please supervise little ones. Make sure they're seated inside the row or on the lap of an adult.
Latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop.
I'd like to remind all guests to remain seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please supervise little ones to make sure they're seated inside the row or on the lap of an adult. As we go through the Grand Canyon diorama up ahead, please make sure we keep all lights off. And please, if you take pictures, no flash. Thank you.
Okay. Yo dije que iba a hacer eso. Ahorita de todo.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography. Returning to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again.
Thanks to USA for leading our Grand Circle tour. Please remain seated while the train comes into the station. If you want to exit here, remember also there are no ramps, lift steps at either end of the platform. We're staying on board and the stop will be New Orleans Center. Once again, wait for a full stop before you stand up. Please remain seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Parents supervise your children and make sure to keep small children away from vehicle openings. Our next stop is going to be New Orleans Station.
New Orleans.
Please make sure all children remain seated.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias. Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. The train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you get
For
on.
now arriving at New Orleans Station, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. This is going to be your stop for Frontierland, New Orleans Square, Adventureland, which includes attractions such as Disneyland Railroad, the world-famous Jungle Cruise, Indiana Jones Adventure, Pirates of the Caribbean, the Haunted Mansion, Marsh, the many adventures of the Toontown.
¿Tienes frío, André? Para quitarte el pantalón.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. Speaking of critters, this place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There is a revered Indian shaman sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below. People like me have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams and the stories that went with them were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable, like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear the mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining dreams and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness. This tunnel signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of pier, the ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown, a cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings.
We're now arriving at Toontown Depot. Please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. It's going to be your stop for FASTPASS and Toontown, which includes attractions such as Wonderland and Cartoon Split, Matterhorn Boxwood, which is Belle, Kimball, and more.
Okay.
Just ride it and then we'll get off. Whatever's closest. Huh? So ride it one more time.
Welcome aboard Excursion 3. Please remain seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Parents, supervise your children and make sure to keep small children away from vehicle openings. Your next stop is going to be Tomorrowland Station.
You'll be alright.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. Steaming forward into the future to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters, and if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings, including lightsabers and astroblasters.
Tomorrowland at Tomorrowland Station. Please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. It's going to be your stop for Town, Autopia, Star Tours, performing as astroblasters, finding the most submarine voyage, astro orbiter, and more. Welcome to the future. Welcome aboard Excursion 3. Please remain seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Parents, supervise your children and make sure to keep small children away from vehicle openings. Our next stop is Main Street Station. But before we get to Main Street, we're going to be making a detour through the Grand Canyon and our diorama of the Primeval World. So as we know the tunnel up ahead, we just ask that you please refrain from any flash pictures or video lighting of any kind. If you have any light-up toys, such as light-up wands, light-up gears, or lightsabers, please go ahead and turn those off now. Thank you.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
That was the Grand Canyon as we know it today. But it wasn't always this way. Now, let's travel back in time, way back in time, to the fantastic past of the primeval world, land of the dinosaurs. We're now returning to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again real soon. For those of you staying with us, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station.
All right, the Main Street Station, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. It's going to be your stop for the main entrance and the park entrance. Just a reminder, folks, that Main Street Station is the only station without any wheelchair ramps or elevators, so if you have any of those, any wheelchairs or storage, please keep those folded until you reach the bottom of the steps.
Alright folks, once more, please stay seated. Next middle stop will be Holliday.
Do you want to take pictures of the cars sitting right?
No,
The Cars Cafe.
why am I dying?
I think you need to like sit down and like take a nap. And then dying.
This is our nap.
Actually, you know what? I fell asleep.
How can you do that?
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails.
All on top of the map.
Just ahead is New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontier.
We're on making our way to Holliday Station. This will be your stop for the many adventures of the week. Live on Holliday Station, Caribbean, Indiana's best adventure in the world, with Walt Disney Attraction, Big Disneyland Railroad, and the nearest entrance to Star Wars Holliday. As we make our way to the station, once more, please stay seated. Be seated with hands on feet length inside of the train at all times. Parents, supervisors, small ones, make sure they are fully seated. Either on your lap or on the bench beside you towards the inside of the row, away from the train opening.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your hands. We're now entering Splash Mountain. Remember to be the location of the one and only laughing place. If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a significant two-hour day. Speaking of critters, this place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Rare Rabbit, and Rare Bear on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past Hungry Bear restaurants and Velcro Christmas parks, we're now joining up with the Rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There, the revered Indian shaman sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below. Then step carefully from the train. Have fun, and say hi to Mickey and Minnie for me. Those of you continuing on,
In less than an hour, the first showing of the Main Street Electrical Parade will be starting here at the Tomorrowland, making its way down towards the USA. So if you want to grab a last minute stop, please stay seated to a train table. Thank you and welcome to Disneyland.
submarines and astroblasters. And if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop.
We're now making our way to Tomorrowland Station, which will be your stop for Tokyo, Star Tours, Buzz Rider, Astro Blasters, Fiesta, Gurley, Mono, Tiki Star, Doctor, yes, so much more. One more please stay seated to this Tomorrowland Station.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography. Para su seguridad. Your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again real soon. For those of you staying with us, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station. Main Street, USA.
As we make our way to the station, please stay seated until the train makes a point. Please stop before standing on us. Thank you and welcome to Main Street, USA. Please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. And parents, please supervise your children, making sure that they are completely seated either on a lap or on a bench away from the train opening. Our next stop is Toontown Depot.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños.
We're now entering Splash Mountain, rummaging in the location of the one and only Laughing Place. If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a zippity-doo-dah day. Speaking of critters, this place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, the last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the Rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's a natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There is the revered Indian shaman, sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below. People like you have been riding these trails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams, and the stories that went with them, were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable. Like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness. Toontown, the cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters.
remain seated until your boat comes to a complete stop at the dock and you are asked to disembark. Thank you. ボートが完全に止まり、油性していただく指示が出されるまでは席を立たないでください。ご協力ありがとうございます。Por favor, permanezca sentado hasta que el bote se detenga en el muelle y se le pida que desembarque. Gracias. Bitte bleiben Sie im Boot sitzen, bis es zu einem vollständigen Halt kommt und Sie gebeten werden aufzunehmen. Danke. Please remain seated until your boat comes to a complete stop at the dock and you are asked to disembark. Thank you. Veuillez rester assis jusqu'à l'arrêt complet du bateau et attendez jusqu'à ce que l'hôte ou l'hôtesse vous demande de descendre. Merci. Por favor, permanezca sentado hasta que el bote se detenga en el muelle y se le pida que desembarque. Gracias. Please remain seated until your boat comes to a complete stop at the dock and you are asked to disembark. Thank you. ボートが完全に止まり